Once again, Chris Bumstead won his sixth title, and Mike Sommerfeld got the second place. So we are going to compare these two athletes, Mike Sommerfeld and Chris Bumstead. We will compare all the poses between them, and let's compare who is better. We all know Chris Bumstead was on his best shape, I would say, after 2020. So let's see who is better and who is going to be the next future Mr. Olympia in classic division. So first pose, front lat spread. So in this pose we see Chris Bumstead is very sharp, looking very sharp, and at the same time Mike Sommerfeld has good proportions, good symmetry in this pose. You can see the waist is very narrow and upper body is so big, and so quads are very big. So overall he is very beautiful symmetry, and this pose is very beautiful by the Mike Sommerfeld. And on the other hand, Chris Bumstead has overall sharp conditioning. You can see the bigger muscle, the lats, serratus anterior, quads, the separation of quads. Chris Bumstead is looking harder than Mike Sommerfeld. So overall the size is also massive by Chris Bumstead, but again Mike Sommerfeld has good shape. So still overall conditioning and size, according to size, this pose goes to Chris Bumstead. So if we talk about any side chest, so in this pose Chris Bumstead become unbeatable, because you can see the physique, the glutes, the hamstring squats, the striation in chest, overall shoulders, midsection, biceps, triceps, they were phenomenal. They were very nice from Chris Bumstead, and no athlete can beat him in this pose. But let's compare. Mike Sommerfeld has nice squats. We can see hamstrings are very big, even bigger than glutes, and glutes are smaller than Chris Bumstead, but overall he's very nice. And in upper body, against Chris Bumstead, he is little softer than Chris Bumstead, because upper body of Chris Bumstead is very sharp. And but overall pose is good from Mike Sommerfeld, and he needs to work more on upper body's conditioning. So if he come next year with conditioned upper back, then he will definitely be the next Mr. Olympia in 2025. If we talk about front double biceps, so again, like front lat spread, Chris Bumstead is looking very sharp. And one thing I would say about Mike Sommerfeld, he has very nice genetic, nice shape. You can see the V taper from lats to waist, so phenomenal. Very nice symmetry by Mike Sommerfeld, the quads, the striations in quads. Overall, Chris Bumstead squats are harder and sharper than Mike Sommerfeld. Overall body, Chris Bumstead is looking very hard, very conditioned against Mike Sommerfeld, but Mike Sommerfeld has good proportions, good symmetry of classic physique. Overall he needs to work more on conditioning, and next year he'll be next Mr. Olympia in classic division, because the vacuum is too good from Mike Sommerfeld. We can see the vacuum, very phenomenal vacuum by Mike Sommerfeld. This pose, I would give this pose to Mike Sommerfeld, because of the symmetry, because of the pose, the beauty of pose. He was so phenomenal. So this pose goes to Mike Sommerfeld. And if we talk about back double biceps, so we can see the density of back in Mike Sommerfeld's back. So you can see the back is very dense, the middle traps are very thick, the big middle traps, and the width is also bigger than Chris Bumstead's back. But Chris Bumstead overall back is more conditioned. So Mike Sommerfeld's back is also conditioned, but overall when we see shoulders, triceps, biceps, the lower back, and the hamstrings, especially hamstrings, are very conditioned from Chris Bumstead. And if you talk about glutes, Mike Sommerfeld's glutes are better than Chris Bumstead glutes, and overall the balance is better in Chris Bumstead physique overall. The size of back and hamstrings, glutes are perfectly fine according to classic division. So he won in this pose, and the Mike Sommerfeld's back is very impressive, we can say, because he has improved a lot in back and glutes and hamstrings, but he needs to work more on hamstrings to win Mr. Olympia in 2025. So if we come condition next year, so he'll surely beat Raymond Erskine and Brion Hensley. So he needs to work on conditioning of upper back, and needs to work on hamstrings. So if he make the balanced physique and sharp look like Chris Bumstead. He'll surely win Mr. Olympia 2025 in classic division. So let's see what happens.